Hey, high energy girls. I'm super excited to interview Dr. Mariza Snyder today, who's going to teach us all about essential oils and how to use them for hormonal imbalance. Dr. Mariza is a frequent lecturer around the country and is regularly featured with top national media such as Dr. Oz, the HuffingtonPost, and MindBodyGreen, where her interviews and segments have helped millions of women. She is also the host of the Essentially You podcast, where she talks all about the aspects of essential oils. And she is launching her new book in February. It is called The Essential Oils Hormone Solution. And guess what? She has a special offer for you to pre-order the book where you can get $300 in bonuses. All you need to do is go to drmariza.com/hormonebook to pre-order and to claim your free gifts. So without further ado, let's go say hi to Dr. Mariza. Hey everyone, welcome to High Energy Keto Girl, a podcast helping women to age stronger because it is never too late to get fit, be strong, and feel sexy. I'm your host, Tracy Gluhige, health coach and personal trainer and founder of highenergygirl.com. Each week, we will either have a guest interview, which will provide you encouragement or an actionable tip to help you age stronger, or I will do a solo episode. Please also join our awesome Facebook group called High Energy Girls, and I'm looking forward to see you on the inside of that group and hope you enjoy today's show. Create Whole Body Wellness, a powerful new advancement in energy medicine. Increase your energy, empower your life. I am super excited to announce that I am now a Bioenergetics Practitioner. And many people are like, well, what is bioenergetics? So imagine that our body is controlled by our energy field, and these fields get distortions and blockages, which create physical and emotional symptoms. So how do we get energy blockages? From stress, toxins, EMFs, emotional traumas, physical scars, and physical traumas. All you need to do is decode the human body field to get to the root cause and restore your energy for life. For more information, head on over to the blog at highenergygirl.com/bioenergetics with an X. That's BIOENERGETIX, and heal your energy for life. Hey, Dr. Mariza, thanks so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me, Tracy Girl. How are you doing today?
I am very happy. The sun is shining, the sky is blue, and that is always a good day for me.
I hear that.
Awesome. So for the listeners that don't know you yet, why don't you just start off by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. So I am a women's hormone doctor. I've been working with women on hormones for about a decade now. It's been my not necessarily my expertise, but definitely my passion. I'm always learning every single day to become a better expert. But the reason why it became such a passion for me is that, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. I heard a little blip. I was like, uh-oh, I may have lost her. But the reason why this became such a big passion for me is about a decade ago, I was in the midst of what I call hormone chaos. I was a hot mess. I was struggling with a lot of hormone issues. And I'll be honest with you, my full confession is that I played a really big role in it. I was running myself into the ground. And I wasn't really listening to all the warning signs. And then I found myself kind of with the big alarm bells going off. And I knew that if I didn't turn this ship around, I was going to be in some significant trouble. So I began kind of diving in, because what I realized is there wasn't a lot of information for women to heal their hormones naturally. So often doctors are just giving us hormones, or they're giving us pills, or giving us anti-anxiety medication, or giving us the birth control pill, which I have a whole different thing on that. But I just found, we really didn't have a lot of the tools that I felt that we deserved and that we needed. So it really became my crusade to help women get their bodies back on track, to have them feeling amazing again, and that energy, that clarity, that confidence, so that we can go out and do the things that we were meant to do on this earth, which is a lot of big stuff.
Now, how old were you when you first started feeling these symptoms?
So I was the first time I started feeling these symptoms, I was probably in my mid-20s.
Oh, wow.
So I was, Mm-hmm. And it's not typical. I would say most women come to me in their late 30s, early 40s, maybe even mid 40s, where things kind of start really getting a little bit crazy for them. But for me, it was much earlier. And it has a lot to do with the fact that I think I was burning myself out since I was in high school. I had this hard set belief. I'm a Latina as well. And my mom was a single mama. And she had just really ingrained in us that you have got to prove your worth, and you have got to prove your worth through doing as much as you can. And so I remember being in high school, those little 10-minute breaks we would get between classes. I was running from one side of the school to the other side. I was in meetings. I was running everything in the school. And I had basically I learned this value of efficiency. And I learned that if you run everywhere, I mean, literally, Tracy, run to all the places with some tennis shoes on, you could be more efficient. And I basically ran from probably 15 years old until at some point at 25, I began experiencing these pretty crazy warning signs. And I was fueling myself on Diet Pepsi and candy.
So. I'm sorry I'm laughing, but I could just visualize this, kind of like a cute little Forrest Gump girl that's just running all over town.
I was very much running everywhere. And there was the thing, I don't know if this is back in the day. I really did not know anything about nutrition, but I would do TV dinners. This is I don't think I've ever admitted this, but I would, it's like a TV dinner takes like 5 minutes to make. I don't know what it takes anymore. I haven't made a TV dinner in decades, but it takes 5 minutes to make, and I would need to take a shower because I would come home from the gym. That was the one thing I was doing, is I was running in the gym too. So I would come home from the gym, I'd put the TV dinner in the microwave, and I would take a shower, and I would time myself how fast I could get out of the shower before the TV dinner was done. I mean, this is the level of efficiency that I thought was a good behavior to have.
Wow.
And so at 25, it started to add up. My stress levels were adding up. I was getting sick. I was putting on weight, although I was working out like 2 hours a day. I had horrible PMS. My migraines were coming back. And it wasn't until I was actually in practice seeing patients. I remember waking up one morning and it felt like this invisible hand was just pushing me back down into the bed. Because I had the most horrible bone-crushing chronic fatigue at that point. I was so exhausted, I couldn't even get out of bed anymore. And that's when I was like, oh no, this is not a good thing. So it finally, what I thought was my normal women running around like a chicken with her head cut off, finally I got to a point where that normal became super dangerous.
Yeah, that sounds like it. And you were so young. So I guess the good news is you caught it, while you were still really young.
Yes. So thank goodness for being that young and having that resilience, right? And the thing of it is, at any age, we really do have the ability to bounce back. We really do have the ability to heal our brain and heal our hormones. And especially at 30 years old, it was pretty much exactly at the age of 30 where the big alarm bells were sounding off at that point. And I knew I needed to make some massive changes because I knew that whatever path I was on, that was the path to an earlier mortality. I was definitely not heading towards a path towards wellness.
Wow. And you noticed that at 25, it took me to about 40 to learn that one. So that's amazing. So what's the first thing you did?
First thing I did is I had to take a really deep look at what was going on. How did I even get myself here? Because I knew that there was a root cause somewhere. And I realized that as I was looking at my to-do list, I was very dutiful. I said yes to everything. I said yes to all these obligations. I was on all these boards. I was in these foundations. I was seeing patients all the time. I was running off to networking events. I was constantly everywhere. Like after work, after seeing patients at 7 o'clock, I was usually at something until 9. And so I started to look at the landscape of the way I was just living my life. And there was so much that I didn't even enjoy doing, but yet I said yes to all of it. So the first thing was I got rid of a lot of what I didn't need in my life. I asked myself really critical questions like, what do I need more of and what do I need to let go of? Mm-hmm. And I let go of a lot of obligations that I didn't even enjoy doing. They weren't moving me forward, even though maybe I thought that somehow they would. I changed the way that I ate, but then I also put myself on the list because I was never on the priority list. I used to call my gym time the selfish hour. Like, that's how disempowering I was in terms of my belief around self-care. So I had to change a lot of that. And so the big first step for me was not only self-awareness, like what is happening to my body, but then I had to shift my belief. Because if I kept continuing to believe that I didn't deserve to be on that priority list and that I didn't deserve to take care of my body or I didn't deserve wellness in general, then I was never going to get to a point where that I was going to be consistent with it.
Yeah.
That was number one. And then number two was the health, was the holistic approach. And it wasn't, Tracy, I had read all the books. I'm a researcher by trade. I was a biochemist before I was a practitioner. For years, I was a biochemist. And so it's not like I was lacking the research, and I read a lot. I wasn't lacking the reading abilities either. It just, I wasn't putting any of it into use. I wasn't doing,
I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt. Were you in school during this?
I was in school part of it, but then I was then seeing patients towards the end of it.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you were really busy.
Mm-hmm. And but I think what was really heartbreaking for me is that I was taking care of these women who were showing up. They were in their 40s, showing up with these symptoms, and I was literally the mirror of them. And I felt like such a phony. You know, I was showing up to take care of these women when I myself was probably worse off than some of them. So that was that moment. I know. I was like, ugh. And I was taking care of them. I never want people to think that I wasn't doing my job and taking care of my patients. I was just in the same boat at the same time. So, yeah.
That's common. I have heard that is so common because what we are passionate about often is because of something that we're experiencing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. Or something that we've overcome, right?
Yeah, for sure. And where were you practicing at that time?
I was practicing in Oakland, California.
Okay.
So I was on Piedmont Avenue.
Oh my gosh, I totally know where that is. My son went to Berkeley.
Oh yeah, well Piedmont is the cutest little. Oh, I love all the shops. It was the cutest little neighborhood to be in.
Oh,
there was a Pete's down the street that I used to always just suck down coffee at.
Oh, to keep going. Yeah, I know exactly where Piedmont is. They have the cutest little restaurants, and I could just totally visualize this whole story. So keep going, girl. You're on fire.
So nutrition became a big part of it. I became such a big nutrition researcher. I actually wrote five books on nutrition. And so nutrition was a big piece. I discovered green smoothies. I broke up with sugar. I really began to fuel my body. Definitely got on supplements. I needed some supplements, especially some adaptogenic herbs to really reset my stress response because I was living in sympathetic system dominance, basically fight or flight survival dominance. And when you're in that system, the thing about the brain is your brain isn't wired necessarily to do self-healing. Your brain is designed to create patterns, to fall into loops. And if your constant behavior is stress or overwhelm or being overworked or being a workaholic, your brain is going to create patterns around that. We call that neuroplasticity, right? And so for me, I was constantly way up here at this high stress dominant state. And it was so easy for me to trigger off over and over and over again. So and that's what happens is when we're already in this state, it's so easy to trigger back into it over and over. It's like this really crazy negative feedback loop. And so I had to fix that as well. So I used supplements to do that. I used yoga to do it. I used meditation to do it. I used running to do it. Whatever it was that could break that cycle. And then I discovered I love essential oils. And I discovered that essential oils can also break those patterns as well, like a pattern interrupt. And then those became a big part of my life. That's why, Tracy, I love oils because they're so amazing at interrupting some of our worst patterns that our brain has just hardwired us to do. But yeah, that was a big part of the journey. And I just did more and more research. I discovered that we really do have so many of these tools at our fingertips. And it's just a matter of deciding and becoming a little bit aware of what's going on in our body and in making these small shifts. They don't have to be big shifts, just these small shifts towards getting to that beautiful place of abundance and health and feeling like ourselves again, that energy that we deserve, that energy that we have, we just haven't harnessed it in a while. And that's really what my mission is, to help women just get back to feeling amazing in their bodies again.
Oh, I love it. And you've said a lot that I have questions on. The word adaptogenic herbs.
Yeah, adaptogenic herbs.
Okay, adaptogenic herbs. So which ones did you start with?
So I am obsessed with holy basil. I love holy basil. I also love ashwagandha. Those were two big adaptogenic herbs that I was using significantly. I found that combination really helped to rewire the part of the brain that's refiring. You know, as I mentioned to you, we've got these loops that we fall into. And so when we're chronic stressed, high achieving, workaholic women, I feel like all women fit into that category. I feel like that's how we were built. You know what? I truly do believe that we are just amazing super women. And it's how we use those powers that really defines if we burn out or if we energize, right? And so it's just a matter of really understanding how to leverage the super divine feminine power that we've got, because we could totally burn it out, right? I clearly have done it. I haven't done it just once. I've done it multiple times. So, because those patterns are always there, kind of deeply ingrained. So it's really important to kind of stay the path. But adaptogenic herbs have the ability, we talk so much about adrenal fatigue, but it's not our poor little adrenals that are causing the problem. They're just the receivers of information. That's all. And they release epinephrine and cortisol and norepinephrine into the system, but they're not the problem per se. They're just receiving info. So what's really the situation is the brain. It's the limbic brain. It's our survival center. And inside that limbic brain, we have this loop that's called the HPA axis, the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. And that HPA axis is receiving information from our environment. For instance, I call these clutch the pearls moments. So if I'm scanning Instagram and I see something super offensive, it's going to probably trigger me. That's a clutch the pearls moment. If I'm running out the door and I forgot my keys and I have to run back in the door and I'm in high heels already, I got to run back in the door in my high heels, grab the keys, I'm running late. That's a clutch the pearls moment, right? You're just like, oh, where are the keys? Or when your best friend texts you something super crazy, or maybe your mama texts you something crazy. People will send you text messages or send you messages that will totally spiral you, right?
Oh, yeah.
Clutch the pearls moment. Yeah, it happens all the time to us. Those are clutch the pearls moments. And what happens is your brain doesn't distinguish. It has no idea the difference between you just leaving your keys in the bedroom and your high heels are on and you're running late and you're about to get into San Jose traffic, which I know is where you are, right? That traffic is no joke, right? The 280 or the 85 or any of it. And you're running late, your brain doesn't know the difference between you being late for a meeting and forgetting your keys versus a tiger being on your booty. Right? It doesn't understand. Your brain wasn't hardwired to know the difference. And so every time you clutch those pearls, you are sending your body back into a heightened state of stress, a heightened state of awareness. And so really what my goal is, and there's major ramifications for that, biological, biochemical ramifications, emotional. No wonder we're seeing such high levels of anxiety and stress and overwhelm. It has so much to do with our responding to our environment and feeling like we're kind of clutching the pearls. And so what I really want to educate about is how we can interrupt those moments, how we can interrupt that pattern so that that HPA axis, that dominating system overdrive that's running inside of our brain doesn't run that way, that we manage those moments with more ease and grace, and we don't end up having this kind of this hormone chaos as a response to those reactions.
Wow. That's a really good, I love that description of clutch the pearls, because I get that where when you get a text or an email or something and all of a sudden you're like, and you just have that like moment of breathlessness and it's like a stress response.
Oh, it's exactly what it is. It's a stress response. I remember my best friend back in the summer texted me. I was about to go on a podcast. I was actually about to interview somebody, and I don't know why I picked up my phone, because normally I throw my phone across the room or somewhere else, and it's on airplane mode. But I grabbed it that day. It was within a minute of me going on this podcast, and one of my best friends had texted me that she had been diagnosed with thyroid cancer. Aww. And what do you do with that information but go into, oh my God, I need to go help her right now mode, but I had this podcast interview. And let me tell you how not present I was for that interview, right? Because I was in this really chronic stressed state. You know, my best friend of 15 years had cancer, and she just chose to text it to me. So, you know, those things happen to us every single day, you know, where we're put in these scenarios. How do we set ourselves up for success? Because life isn't going to life is going to throw what it's going to throw at us. Yeah. How do we manage those moments so that our bodies are prepared, our minds prepared, we feel like we are equipped to handle those moments with grace?
Yeah, that's really good to say, like how to equip yourself, because one day I remember I always go to the gym really early, and I check my emails before, and I got this email that was very uncomfortable and very stressful. Like it stressed me out. So it ruined my workout. I was like, the whole time I was at boot camp, I was thinking about that email. And so now it's like, I do not check my emails or anything before I go to the gym. I need to stay in my happy place, you know?
Absolutely, 100%. And I don't even think anyone should check their emails at all in the morning. You know, our mornings are so precious. Your gym time, for instance, Tracy, is so precious because that is the time that you're doing self-care. That's the time where you are taking care of you first. You know, you open up that email, you open up Instagram, you open up Facebook, whatever it is you're looking at, or a text message, you become someone else's agenda. Even though my best friend had every right to text me that, I became her agenda, and for good reason. My gosh, I did hours and hours and hours of research. I created protocols, I sent her books. I reached out to the best thyroid experts there were. I mean, I wanted to be on that agenda. It just threw me off that moment, right? Yeah, and I needed, so I grabbed an oil because I know that I wanted to show up for my person on the other side, and I was pretty much present. There were definitely moments where my brain went back to that text message, but I thank God I had oils that I was using to really keep me present and keep me back and be grounded in those moments.
Well, I'm glad you said that because I'm really interested in oils. I have to say I've been studying health and fitness and movement and all kinds of things for years and years and years, and the oils conversation is something I'm very curious about. I have oils, I have the books, I have, you know, different things that I've like never really understood. And I would love to hear your wisdom about that.
Absolutely. Well, I love oils. I love movement too. I've been working out since I was in high school. I love working out. I love movement. And I'm trying to always get people to do more movement. But what I think I love so much about oils is oils can really help support the lifestyle that you want. You know, one of the things that we do before we go to the gym every day, or we go and take a run, or we go to the ocean, or whatever we're doing that's active, is we get a drop of peppermint and we take a deep, deep belly breath and just open up those airways, open up the oxygen in our lungs so that we have more mitochondrial function. I just love using oils pre and post workout. But I love using oils for all of my healthy habits. So I'm down to talk about whatever you want to talk about. I can talk about how we disrupt that sympathetic nervous system situation that we've been talking about. But honestly, I can go in any direction you want.
Well, okay, so let's break down what you just said. So you said you take a drop of peppermint oil. Does that mean you put it in your mouth, or what do you sniff it? What do you do with that drop of peppermint oil?
That's a great question. You always just assume, people know what you're talking about. And it's so funny. So yeah, on my palms, we have peppermint rollers that we carry with us everywhere, and it's about 15 drops of peppermint oil in these little rollers, about a 10 mil roller. They're available everywhere. Gosh, everyone's using oil, so those rollers are everywhere. I'm looking at my little peppermint roller here because I told you I'm going to the gym right after this interview. So I've got my roller. I fill the rest of it up with coconut oil or grapeseed oil or avocado oil, honestly, whatever carrier oil you love. And then I roll that roller over my palms. Or if I just have the straight peppermint, I just put a drop on my palms. I rub my palms together like this. And then I just take 2 to 5 deep belly breaths. And then I take the rest of that oil and I put it on the back of my neck. Because peppermint is an instant energizer and it's really cooling. So it has this really amazing, get up and go tingly sensation. I pretty much love to work out every day, but let's be honest. there are definitely days where I'm just like, man, I just need to get my booty up and get to that gym. Because that's the hardest part, is getting your booty to the gym. I think once you're in the gym, you're okay.
Yeah.
And so we use peppermint oil to get us to the gym. Even like, especially if we're dragging that morning, I'm like, hey, where's that peppermint oil? We got to get it on, because that's going to get us out the door.
Yeah, that's okay. So I've never tried that. But I love the smell of peppermint. I love peppermint tea. So I will definitely have to try that one, because I get up at 10 to 5, and this morning I was up at 4:30. So it was just like, you just need that boost.
Oh yeah, you definitely need that boost. So my instant Energizer blend, and honestly, we need that boost throughout the day. Some people it's in the morning, some people it's at 11 o'clock in the morning where like the coffee runs out, like the coffee activation. And sometimes it's at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I just, if we can have a more natural solution that doesn't have any side effects, that only has side benefits, girl, sign me up. Sign me up for that. And so what I just do, I do 1 drop of peppermint oil, 1 drop of wild orange or sweet orange. It can be grapefruit oil, it can be lime oil, it can be lemon oil, a citrus, and a mint. That's what you're looking for. This is my instant energy. It has worked every time. I've been using this blend every single day for over 6 years, and it does the job every time. If you want instant energy, instant motivation, and instant abundant, just the feeling of joy, this is the blend that's going to get the job done.
And you put it on your palms and then on the back of your neck.
And breathe it in too, because it's that aroma. Remember we talked about that limbic brain? Well, that limbic brain is not only controlling our stress response, but it's controlling our energy, it's controlling our hormones, it's controlling our emotions. Everything's being filtered there in the limbic brain. And so if we can get those oils, those beautiful, powerful chemical constituents, that beautiful chemistry, right into that limbic brain, oh my gosh, that is where the magic happens.
Oh, okay. Okay. So it's the inhaling that's really effective. Okay. And then as far as you said, wherever I want to go, honestly, doctor, I have so little experience with essential oils that I would rather you share whatever you think our audience would benefit most from. My focus is on helping women to age stronger, feel younger, and just be the best version of themselves possible. So whatever wisdom that you have that you think that they would love to hear, just go, girl.
All right. Well, let's give some, I'm going to give a little bit of groundwork then.
Okay.
Because I have a feeling a lot of your audience members are either trying to use oils, have a couple oils, or want to use oils because they're friends or they're seeing them on Instagram, or but they just don't know what to do with them. That's always the big question. Now, I have a book out already called The Smart Mom's Guide to Essential Oils, and it was meant for all women, not just mamas, but my publishing company really wanted me to have it niched to moms, but it's for everybody.
Okay.
And that book really goes into how to use oils. I had interviewed 250 women and asked them every concern, question, doubt, fear around essential oils, and then built a book around it. Because I was like, I want to knock out and dispel all the myths, all the concerns, do the research, and so that's what that book is all about. But then I wrote this new one, this upcoming book called The Essential Oils Hormone Solution. And this book is all about how to get our hormones back on track, literally how to create that longevity that you were talking about, how to feel happier, younger, just really feel back in our bodies again, leveraging nutrition, leveraging self-care, and leveraging essential oils. But knowing that a lot of people were going to buy the hormone book, I wanted to give a little bit of context. Kind of just like how I was telling you how to use peppermint, I just blended it because I didn't exactly tell you what to do. I just said take a drop of it, right? But what do you do with that drop? There's a lot of things you could do with a drop of peppermint. I wasn't clear. So there are 2 ways to use oils that I really highly recommend that you're going to really get the biggest impact from. The first way we've already been talking about, which is breathing them in. And the reason why essential oils are so profound when you breathe them in aromatically, right? That's the concept of aromatherapy, is that you are taking all of these gorgeous chemical constituents, and each oil could have dozens to up to 100 of these beautiful organic chemical constituents. And what's so cool about it is that we know that plants were always meant to serve our chemistry. We were always meant to be benefited from the way plants work in our bodies. Same thing with essential oils. We're just leveraging them by breathing those in. So when we're breathing them in, we can have emotional benefits, we can have focus, clarity, get rid of that brain fog. We can have energizing benefits. We can have hormone benefits. There's just so many big benefits to breathing them in. We can sleep better. We can reverse cravings. We can banish cravings. I mean, name it. We can boost libido. There's so much we can do by breathing them in. Now, the other way, and it's also, by the way, the easiest way to use oils. You can wear oils on bracelets, like pretty aromatherapy jewelry. You can diffuse your oils in an ultrasonic diffuser. They're all over Amazon. You can just type in essential oil diffusers. They pop up. It's definitely the easiest way to breathe in oils is just having a diffuser going. You can put on a cotton ball. You can breathe them directly from your palms, whatever you prefer. And then the second way to use them is topically. And what I talk about when it comes to topically is path of least resistance. So, and you're working on the area of concern. So for instance, I got food poisoning during the holidays, and it felt like someone was rationing my small intestines, like someone was just squeezing them. And so I grabbed 2 oils, three oils actually, fennel, peppermint, and ginger. And these 3 oils not only help to lower inflammation in the gut, helps to move things through, so helps to continue peristalsis, but also helps to ease the pain that's going on in those smooth muscles. So I use that blend, and all of that discomfort, all of that yucky feeling that comes with having that food poisoning, I was able to dissipate. Now, the food poisoning symptoms were still kind of working their way through, but at least I was able to manage a lot of that discomfort with the oils. So that was really helpful. But let's say you had a headache, or let's say your knee was hurting after a workout. You can actually apply oils like frankincense, lavender, and peppermint to that particular area of concern. So I always say if you've got a stomach ache, put them on the stomach, not on your knee, right? If you've got a knee problem, put them on your knee. So that's the way that we use them topically. And things come up all the time. We were in Italy about a year and a half ago or so, and my husband ran straight into a pole on accident. And I wasn't paying attention. It was like that moment where I saw right when he was about to run into a pole, and I just kind of screamed, kind of like a clutch the pearls moment. But he ran into the pole anyway. And so his glasses fell off one way, his phone flew the other way, and he hit right on his forehead. So he had this big goose egg that was growing before our eyes. And the first thing my husband said is, "Do you have any lavender oil?" Because my husband, yes, he also uses essential oils. And sure enough, I had my big old purse on me. I always travel with oils, always. If you catch me on the street, I have 10 oils on hand. So I pulled out the lavender oil, and we literally watched that goose egg shrink as fast as it grew.
Wow.
So we always have them with us. So topical is such a powerful way to use oils, but most specifically, if you've got a health issue, an acute health issue that you need to address, like a headache, like a tummy ache, you're not able to breathe because your sinuses are clogged up, that's where topical usage really comes in handy.
Okay. Wow. I never thought about it. How big's your arsenal? How many different oils do you keep on around?
Well, so I have in the house, we have 150. But don't think I can't, there's no way I could use that many oils. So, when I'm traveling, I have my travel case with me right now. I'll tell you what's in it if you're interested. I have, my Motivate blend. This is my Get Stuff Done blend. It's got rosemary, frankincense, peppermint, and citrus oils. It immediately gets me focused and back on task. I've got my Sleepy blend in here, which is lavender, Clary Sage, Roman chamomile. I have lavender on me. I've got peppermint and wild orange, my instant energy duo. I have frankincense because frankincense is the most incredible anti-aging essential oil ever. It got rid of all of my hyperpigmentation on my face. I love frankincense. I literally slather frankincense all over myself every day.
So you put it on your face to remove the hyperpigmentation. So was it melasma?
Yep. Yes, it was. And it was hormone driven. So
Yeah.
often it is.
It always is. So I have a friend who has it on her arms. I will definitely tell her about that.
Yeah, frankincense. It's amazing. I had a colleague of mine who, she has 2 daughters, and they're grown up. They're in their 20s, and she has right at the bridge of our nose where we get those wrinkles. She had 2 wrinkles up there between her eyes, and she named them after her daughters, which I thought was really appropriate. But she put frankincense on that area every day, twice a day, so morning and night, for 3 months. And by the time the 3 months were up, they were gone. Her daughters had disappeared off her face. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to totally do that. I'm 53, so I have plenty of those.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Frankincense is amazing. I mean, there's a lot of other amazing natural anti-aging remedies out there, but I just love frankincense. And it's powerful. It's a powerful cellular healer. There's just so much great research on that oil, but I just add it to my moisturizer every morning and night. Oh. And it was, I had pigment for years, the melasma, and I couldn't get rid of it. We had done Fraxel. I mean, we had done everything. My mama had tried, I blamed it on my mom, because my mom had hormone issues as well, and she always had us in the sun when I was growing up. We were little California sun babies. And I was like, Mama, this is your fault. Look at what you did to my face. So she was willing to help invest in getting my face back, get the pigment get rid of the pigment. But we couldn't get rid of it. I tried everything. And bleaching, I mean, name it. And so finally I had this frankincense, and I read that it was great for brightening up the skin and reducing pigment. So I started using it every day, and within about 90 days, my pigment was gone. Now, if I go into the sun, it comes back. I mean, it'll come back if I'm significantly in the sun. But as long as I stay on my frankincense protocol, it doesn't come. It stays away.
Wow, that is cool. Okay, that's a good one to know. What other oils do you recommend for women? I always call it women in the hot years, Yes. I mean, God knows I've been in that for long enough. But what other oils are effective for helping us with any type of symptoms, anti-aging, things like that? Oh, libido. I heard you mention libido earlier. My son walked in, and I didn't want to bring that up because I didn't want to call attention to it. But what oils do you like for that as well?
So libido oils, my go-to oils for libido are jasmine, ylang-ylang, rose, sandalwood, and cinnamon. And my mama my mom loves her libido boosting oil. She doesn't mind if I call her out. And she always says that you need to put ylang-ylang on your ylang-ylang. She is hilarious. That will turn things up. Ylang-ylang is such a great oil. And it's, in the way back in, many centuries ago, they would put ylang-ylang flowers all along the bed when people got married, their wedding night. And so it's been a tradition that it's always been this natural aphrodisiac. But I don't necessarily recommend it putting directly on your ylang-ylang. Yeah, I would just say in the inner thighs. I don't know what my mom's doing exactly. Whatever she's doing is working. But I have this really amazing edible massage blend. Do you want to hear it?
Sure.
Okay, so really what it is that we've just kind of lost our sensuality, right? So often we're going to choose cheese over sex. It's just life was being so busy and all the things, and so often our libido went, man, it left, and we don't even know how to get it back. So I think for me, it's about sensuality, it's about intimacy, it's about cuddling. And that's where I think aroma really comes into play. Essential oils can be so sensual, right? So on one hand, they can help you with food poisoning. On the other hand, they can really help you kind of get you back in the mood, which is so great about how versatile they are. So my massage blend is 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. So you can have this in a little mini jar. And it's 5 drops of cinnamon oil, 10 drops of wild orange, and 10 drops of sandalwood. And you can just massage that on the back, on the legs, whatever feels right. And, but I really want to create that experience of intimacy and sensuality. I have an aphrodisiac spray, which is a combination of Clary Sage, ylang-ylang, and jasmine. It's just a 2-ounce water bottle, little spritz bottle. You fill it up with water and then 10 drops of jasmine, ylang-ylang, and Clary Sage. And that not only lowers stress levels, but it boosts testosterone and boosts oxytocin levels. All of that really helps to create an experience of intimacy and kind of getting that libido back.
Wow. How did you learn all of this?
I just did a lot of reading. This was the area that women really wanted assistance with. And I was like, okay, well, we have this tool? Is there a way that we can leverage these tools to create the health that we're looking for? And what I discovered, I remember that aha moment, that light bulb that went off in my head where I was like, oh my gosh, we can use oils for so much of this. So many of my readers, the women that I work with, struggle with brain fog, are struggling with low productivity. They can't seem to get focused in the middle of the day. And so rosemary is one of the best essential oils to really get your focus back on track. But rosemary on its own rosemary smells great to cook with, but rosemary essential oil, just to breathe, not necessarily my favorite. So I love to combine rosemary with frankincense, peppermint, and grapefruit, usually 5 drops of each in a 10 ml roller, and you just roll it over your palms, breathe it in, and then, we're boosting memory function, we're boosting brain power, we're boosting focus and concentration. It's the actual chemistry of those oils that are doing that in the brain, right? Wow. So that's what's so cool about it. So libido, hot flashes. So hot flashes, goodness. Hot flashes are, we have a natural decline of hormones, right? Our reproductive hormones are on a natural decline, especially progesterone and estrogen. And depending on how quickly those decline really determines the level of hot flash action you're going to experience. And so I love oils like Clary Sage. Clary Sage is like I call it a Beyonce of hormone essential oils. But Clary Sage can really make that transition of your hormones kind of dipping and diving a lot easier. It helps to stabilize estrogen and progesterone levels. So I have this Superwoman blend that I'm known for. And I have hundreds and hundreds of women making this blend all the time. And the Superwoman blend is designed for women in perimenopause and menopause most particularly. And it helps with hot flashes, it helps with mood swings, it helps with focus and concentration. It helps with a lot of the symptoms that we go through when we're in perimenopause and menopause. And so I'd love to share that blend as well because it's great for hot flashes.
I'm writing.
So my Superwoman blend is a little bit more complex than some of the other ones I share, but it is totally worth it. I promise. So it is in a 10 ml roller. And what I always recommend is get a really pretty roller. There are so many beautiful little essential oil roller balls out there. My Superwoman blend is always in like a hot pink and hot orange or hot red color. So I just love those colors for Superwoman energy. So I have this little hot pink roller, and it's 12 drops of Clary Sage because we want the Beyonce of oils to really be predominant in this blend. It is 10 drops of lavender, and lavender is great for calming inflammation, soothing hormones as well. It's great for calming the mind. Then it's 5 drops of geranium, and geranium is like all things woman. It's great for supporting the liver. It's great for supporting our libido as well. I love geranium. And it's 5 drops of cedarwood, and then 4 drops of ylang-ylang. And once you make that blend up, you just top it off with a carrier oil, almond oil, grapeseed oil, whatever you prefer. Mix it up, and then you're going to apply it around the ovaries, so 3 inches below the belly button, so right where the ovaries are, because that's where you're still potentially have some hormone action going on. I also love it on my pulse points. I love it on my wrists. I love it as perfume, so I wear it on my neck. And so wherever you feel comfortable, wherever you love to wear this blend, honestly, any of it works.
Wow, that is amazing. And what can a person expect to feel after applying it, and how long does it take to feel that way?
So what you'll see is, one, mood's going to stabilize. You're going to feel less stressed. You're going to feel, I'll tell you what, this oil, I put a lot of intention into this blend. It took me about 6 months to make it, to really perfect it. This blend is designed to have you step into your power. That's what this blend was meant for. This blend was meant to rock your Superwoman energy. So I find that it gives me more clarity. I find that my mood even out. It definitely will stop hot flashes. But you got to be consistent. Hot flashes are because of fluctuating of hormones and declining of hormones. So it's all about consistency. And really, essential oils and lifestyle, just like working out, it's all about consistency, all of it. So be consistent with your oil. And you'll also experience just more clarity, more confidence. I always feel like this is the dream maker essential oil blend. Like I always feel like I can do, create, and be whatever I want when I use this oil.
Oh, cool. And where would a person find a roller? Would you call it a roller ball?
Yeah, like a roller. It's just a 10 ml roller. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them on some of the little essential oil companies that I love are Aroma Tools and Oil Life. But honestly, Amazon has so many 10 mil roller balls, or 10. They're technically 10 mil roller bottle blends. And the reason why they're called rollers is there's an actual roller on the end of it, so you just roll the oil onto your body. So I have this technique that I call stop, drop, and roll, because that's especially for stress, right? Stop what you're doing, grab, and then you could just even stop, drop, and roll. So it's really just about stopping, knowing your stress, grab that oil, and then roll it on.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. Everybody knows that term, I'm sure. So
yes. Now,
when is your book coming out, Dr. Mariza?
The book is coming out February 12th, 2019. And let me tell you, I'm just counting down the days. I'm just waiting. This book was 2 years in the making, and many, many years before that, because I've been wanting to write the book for a while. And so I am so excited. It's got my hormone trifecta in it. It has all of these recipes. I know you guys are probably, so often, I know when I'm listening to a podcast, I'm usually running, or I'm walking, or I'm not writing down usually. I'm not usually writing stuff down. So I know that I talked about a lot of blends inside of this, and I hope Tracy will have them in the show notes, but if not, all of these blends and so many more. I mean, I have a whole chapter devoted to sleep. I have a whole chapter devoted to menopause and perimenopause, a chapter devoted to hormone-driven weight resistance, so how to lose weight when your hormones are sabotaging you, libido. I mean, every single chapter I tackle the biggest concerns when it comes to women and their hormones.
Awesome. That's what we all need, because those things they're unpredictable. They're always wonky, all over the place. And this is a simple fix, it sounds like.
Yes, a simple and natural fix, right?
Yeah.
I don't want women to have to take hormones if they don't have to, and we shouldn't have to. I don't want women to have to just be prescribed anti-anxiety medications or anti-inflammatories. We have a natural option here. So I always say that, we have the ability to fix our hormones without nasty side effects. And that's what this book was all about.
Yeah, and that's important because, a bunch of my friends, they were doing these hormone pellets. And so I was feeling pretty good, but I thought, okay, I'll try it. Well, do you know that I gained 13 pounds in 3 weeks without changing anything else?
That is the power of hormones and synthetic hormones, right? Even if they're bioidentical, if we can totally get away with not using bioidentical hormones, I definitely recommend it. And not all hormones, I know it's all the thing, and it's the one thing the doctors are recommending right now, but it's definitely not for everybody. And so often women come to me, that's usually what happens. Women come to me who've been on an estrogen patch or have been on, a ton of hormones or still even on birth control for whatever reason that may be. And they're not getting better, and they just want something different. They want a natural approach. And so that's why I wrote the book.
Good. Yeah. I think that's really important because I am so against all of that stuff, all of the medications with all the side effects. I have 2 parents that are very, very sick, and, they just kind of did things the Western way. And I always talk to them about choices and options and try this instead of that. And that's why the whole essential oil thing has been so important to learn about. And I think that you're doing a great movement on educating people about options.
Thank you. We deserve them. We deserve options. And you know what else we deserve, Tracy? We deserve to take our power back. We deserve to be the CEOs of our health. And so often we go to our doctors, and not to say that our doctors aren't wonderful, because there's a lot of great doctors out there, but when we relinquish our power, our ability to help co-manage our health, a lot of times we end up on a ton of medications that we really don't need, and ends up having pretty negative implications. So I always want to empower women to really step into their power, note that they're the CEO of their health, and they get to steer the ship. And that's why we're here, to provide that type of education so that they can make confident, secure choices about their health and wellness.
Right. Absolutely. And I'm excited to try this Superwoman blend. Let's talk about so which oils. I know that you can get oils on Amazon or Whole Foods or vitamin shop or whatever it's called. But I know that like supplements, not all vitamins or not all oils are created equally. So
no, they're not. No, they're not. I had a good friend of mine who I had my jasmine oil with me, which by the way, handpicked at dawn, handpicked. It's such a difficult oil to get out of these flowers. It's an expensive oil. It's a true pure jasmine oil is really expensive. And I had it at a wedding. So she went to Whole Foods and there was this $20 jasmine, and it's impossible to have a $20 jasmine. And it's too labor intensive. So she puts it on, and within about 5 minutes, it literally smelled like cat pee on her. And she was like, "Oh my God, what is this?" And I was like, yeah, it was nasty. It was. What I will tell you is not one part of that oil was jasmine. So yes, and the thing of it is that it's an unregulated market, unfortunately, as well. So what you need to do, I'm not going to tell you what company to go to, but I do have a company that I prefer. But you want to do your research. You want to be really mindful. I don't know what's being sold on Amazon. I don't necessarily trust everything that's in the store as well. I wouldn't buy oils from Ross or even Target. And so I would just go to the website. And, you think about organic produce, which is so important, or at least, farmers that are really taking care of their plants, or farmers that are really taking care of their animals. And they're going to tell you if they're organic, or if they're, if they are grass-fed, or whatever that may be, because it's important, and it costs more money to do so, right? To put that time of care and effort into creating really great produce or really great meat. Same thing with oils. Oils are plants to begin with. That's what they were first. And so you want to go, that company better disclose where their oils come from. Where did their oils come from? Are their oils, can we track who's growing these oils? Are they disclosing that information? And then how are they testing their oils? Do they have a third-party testing company? If indeed they're doing all of these things to ensure they have high-quality, pure oils, potent oils, they're going to disclose all of that on the front page, right? Because they're spending a ton of money to do it, to take the time and the effort to create really beautiful essential oils. So if you're finding that you go to this company's website and you see nothing about the quality or where they're getting their oils, that's a big red flag that they're probably not doing their due diligence.
Yeah.
So, and on the shelves, here's a great to know, is if all the oils are priced the same. So if you have a lemon oil and a frankincense oil, or you have a lemon oil and a jasmine oil, and they're the same price, it's utterly impossible. There's no way that you can have a frankincense as cheap as a lemon oil. So if you're seeing that all the oils are priced the exact same, well, then they're adulterated and they've been tainted.
Yeah, that makes sense. My sister sells doTERRA oils. And so she's given me some, and I've tried like some of the blends for allergies and different things. And I definitely know that some of them are way more expensive than others.
It's my favorite brand.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Their level of testing is like nothing I've ever seen.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know because, she loves those. So she's always talking about those. And I do know because I've bought some from her. And I know I have frankincense. I mean, I told you I had a bunch of oils. I just don't even know what to do with them. And so that's good to know. But so doTERRA, thank you for telling me that that's a good one because I do know about that brand. But I also know she's told me don't buy anything at Vitamin Shop or, on Amazon and stuff. So how can people find you, Dr. Mariza?
Oh, great question. So a couple places. One, all of my books are on Amazon or anywhere books are sold, including the new book, The Essential Oils Hormone Solution. But I also have a podcast. It's called the Essentially You Podcast, and it is very much about how to help women become the CEOs of their health. And then you can find me on Instagram. I'm at Dr. Mariza, and that's DrMariza. And so many of the blends that I shared with you today, I have in Instagram. And I have beautiful pictures of them as well. So if you are looking, you're like, man, what was that libido boosting blend? Or, what was that Superwoman blend again? I have those pictures, and they're so beautifully done with the amount of oils that you need. It's all built into that picture. So you can find me on Instagram and definitely go look at those.
Oh, perfect. And then on February 10th, we can all go out and buy your book so that we have it really handy so we can remember all the names or all the ingredients in the blends.
If you guys decide that you want to go and pre-order the book now, we have bonus goodies because I know what it feels like to want to get a book of my appreciation. I wanted to give you some amazing hormone resources at your fingertips. So all you got to do is if you go and pre-order the book, just go to my book bonus website, which is drmariza.com/hormone book. So drmariza.com/hormone book. You just put your name and information there, and you will then get an email with all of my epic book bonus goodies. Oh my gosh, we've created some really amazing stuff. That way you can get started right away.
Cool. That's good to know. And I will have a link to all of these, all of her social channels and her website and the book bonus on the show notes page so people can find it really easily. So I just want to thank you so much for coming on the show. You really have inspired me to go whip out my frankincense and start putting it on my wrinkles.
Oh, good. Oh, my goodness. Yes. You're going to love, love, love it. And it's your sister, I know she's got a doTERRA account, Immortelle. Now, it's not a cheap oil, every darn penny. That's even more potent. So Immortelle, it has frankincense in it, but it has myrrh and rose, helichrysum. That's the oil. I didn't want to mention brands or names or blends, so because I like to be non-branded on these, because I know people are using oils from all over the place. I don't want people to feel like, oh, well, she only uses this one. So I'm really mindful about that. But Immortelle, Tracy, honey, that's the oil you want, girl.
Oh, that's one of the doTERRA blends?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay, I'll let Valerie know. She'll love it. So I just want to tell you, I appreciate you coming on the show so much. I mean, you are just a ball of energy. You're a perfect high energy girl to come and give wisdom to the rest of our listeners, the rest of the high energy girl community. And I just want you to know how much I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
And enjoy your weekend in San Diego.
Thanks, honey.
Okay, I'll be in touch, doctor.
Okay, sounds good, Tracy.
Thank you, sweetie. Bye-bye. Wow, I'm so excited. I'm going to go and find myself one of those pink roller balls and create that amazing Superwoman blend. How about you? I've had a really good time on the show today with Dr. Mariza. She is just a breath of fresh air, and I learned so much. Hopefully you did too. And thank you so much for listening to the show today. For complete show notes, head on over to highenergygirl.com/show. If you have any great guests that you'd love for us to hear from, please go ahead and make that special request via email, tracy@highenergygirl.com. Go out and make it a great day. This podcast contains the opinion and thoughts of its host and guests. It is intended to provide helpful and informative material on the subjects covered. All statements made on the podcast have not been evaluated by the FDA and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. If the listener requires professional assistance or advice, please contact your personal medical doctor. Both host and guest specifically disclaim any responsibility for any liability, loss, or risk, personal or otherwise, which is incurred as a consequence directly or indirectly of the use and application of any of the contents of these episodes. Like I said, this is my opinion and I could be wrong.